stimulus plan, some say, has more spending than stimulus. Is that good or bad for the stock market?
Well, investors sure aren't buying it today. Let's ask our Bulls and Bears panel. Todd Wileman, Scott Martin, Jonas Max Ferris, Tobin Smith, along with Rafael Resendes. He's a portfolio manager for the Toreador Large Cap and co-founder. He's a co-founder of the Applied Finance Group. I'm going to take it first to Jonas. Jonas, what do you make of it?
It's spending. I mean, it's going to wind up in earnings at some corporation. This will probably generate $30 or $40 billion in earnings for corporate America. So in that sense, it's good in the short run. But it is a spending plan. It's going to be coming out of future prosperity because we're going to have to either raise taxes or cut spending later. So it has no long-term benefits. My big beef is it's got hardly anything to do with the real problem, which is collapsing real estate prices. I just don't see. We don't have a problem with potholes compared to falling home prices. These are treating symptoms of the problem, right, not the problem.
Well, Toby, let's talk about what's in this thing that was at least passed by the House. We don't know what it'll eventually look like, but the concern that a lot of folks have is that this is not just a one-shot deal, that this might become an add-on to our annual budget baseline. That is, right, this extra $850 billion might be here for the next 10, 20, 30 years if politicians have their way.
Well, you know, David, I hate to get into the weeds on this thing, but there's one thing that's just perfectly emblematic of what you talked about. In the Medicare part, or excuse me, the Medicaid part, the state's health care plan, they have a benefit that if we were, the only way that the state can take the money is if the state guarantees that they'll continue to pay that same benefit after the quote-unquote program is over. So in essence, they're mandating, and oh, by the way, then the feds won't pay for that benefit. So yes, this is like literally going into a pool, taking a bucket of water out of the deep end and going over and putting it in the shallow end. That's income transfer. That's not stimulative. That's taking money out of one person's pocket and putting it into another's. It's insane, David.
You know, Scott Martin, when the senator was talking, I saw you giggling a little bit over there with Jonas. What was going on between you two?
You guys had too many good things to even go over it. Now, the car thing was awesome, right? We do have problems with potholes, though, and potholes in Chicago, so that's one thing you guys are lucky about.
Look, but politics isn't local anymore.
If they damage cars and make you buy a new one,
that's what they're trying to do. I mean, Jonas is right. There's no addressment of the housing. I mean, we have to address the housing problem. Exactly. And you're talking about stock market price. You're talking about the economy in general, and we're not dealing with the housing situation.
By the way, let it be noted that the day Blagojevich goes to defend himself, Todd is here rather than in Chicago. What's going on, huh?
He got rid of me too, David. I mean, he is getting rid of all his former friends, and now we're back in New York.
Well, that's Todd and you're Scott.
Exactly.
Todd,
well, Todd was on his side too, though, I think.
Yeah. Oh, no. He was just the gift they kept giving, you know. Keep Rod in the governorship, please.
But what about this spending bill? Is there any end to it? First of all, is there any justification in calling it a jobs bill?
No. And that's the key. You want to create jobs in a recession. Now, remember, you had Bill Clinton during the 90s got to 4% unemployment rate. What did he do? Did he have massive stimulus programs? Yeah. No. You have an economy that creates jobs, not government. And that's what.
Yeah, but you had the internet miracle.
Sit right there, gang. We got breaking news on Amazon. Robert Gray, take it away. We're going to go to. Let's go to. Wait, I'd like to get over to Rafael because when I asked that question of the senator, what's in it for Wall Street, what I was really trying to get at is all this news about this bad aggregator bank coming out next week. Really don't know what it's going to look like. What might be terrifying is we could be unloading derivatives into that mega dumpster.
Right. You know, I think the issue with the stimulus that I think gets lost in all the shuffle back and forth is when you go back to what drove the Clinton economy. The first 2 years of the Clinton economy were really kind of a disaster, actually. Unemployment was lower than what he had inherited from Bush, was higher, rather. It wasn't until he actually cut capital gains dramatically with Gingrich and the contract with America that you really had the framework for an economic recovery. And here what we're seeing is a bold experiment that we haven't seen since the Nixon-Carter days, going back to the government driving the economy, rather than incenting individuals to go out and take an extra job, work extra hours, increase their income. Yeah. We see nothing on the side to stimulate capital or to stimulate income from the side of individuals, rather than just kind of a top-down central planning model.
Good points there, gang.
Thank you, gang.